I'm sure most of you by now have heard the rumors, you've seen the articles, you've heard the videos, and it's true. I got fined $50,000 for my TRX jump video. Here's why. Real quick though, before the video begins, you only have 4 days left to get entered for the C6 ZR2 and the Carbon 65 grand Sport. Get something cool on the website. We have all kinds of epic stuff. Doesn't matter what you get, anything and everything on the website counts for you to win those 2 Corvettes. Right now, every $1 spent equals 20 entries for both. 20 for the C6 and 20 for the C7. 40 entries in total for $1. Hit that link down below. Good luck. I'll see you very soon to hand you the keys to your new Corvette. 2 of you watching this right now, unless one of you is very lucky, but more than likely 2 of you watching right now are going to be the new owners of these cars. Get entered right now. Get entries for both. Every $1 spent equals 20 entries for that car and 20 for that one. 40 entries in total for just $1 spent. Don't miss out. Hit that link down below, and I'll see you soon to give you your keys, and I'll cry.
Here he comes!
Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the channel. Hope all of you are having a great day. I can't wait to talk about this because I have been waiting to talk about it for well over a year and a half. It's been that long of a legal process, and kind of funny timing because Whistle and Diesel is going through a similar thing. Same class of crime that I was going through, a Class C misdemeanor. Now, you know, Tennessee might be a little different from PA, but same type of deal. And that's why I wouldn't be surprised, depending on what he does, if we don't get a resolution on that for a long time as well, because you know the legal system, stuff takes a long time. It really does. So I can now talk about this, and I'm happy to announce that it's been a long process, but it's all been worth it because as I stand here today, I have no charges against me. I have no record. I have absolutely nothing. Everything has been dropped and gone from my situation. So that's all behind me, thank God. It was tough for me though, because like with any legal battle, my lawyer said don't say anything in the open in public, so I didn't. I took all the videos down, I didn't talk about it, and I live in a small town, so this got in the local papers and the online versions of those papers, and all these people talking about it, and I couldn't jump in to say anything, and some of the information was not correct or missing, and a lot of people were just guessing, and I really wanted to say like, hey, here's what actually happened, but I couldn't. One of the biggest things was the actual fine, and I know I'm going to title the video Fined 50K too, but that's not actually the case. The $50,000, that's true. It was, I think, 52 all in all, about 52 grand I paid. So that's true, but it wasn't a fine, it was a restitution payment for the damage I caused. So it wasn't actually a fine. That's what you would pay if you had a speeding ticket, you pay a fine, or whatever, you pay a fine for something. This was, I caused the state saying I caused damage and I had to pay to repair it. That's essentially the deal I was given. Either pay the 50 grand and it pretty much all goes away. I had to fight a few things. The court system was pretty easy to work through. So it was either pay the 50K, fight a couple little things and it all goes away, or go to trial. And the big problem for me was, and why I didn't fight it, because I filmed myself. And it was obvious. There I was in the truck, me drive, because I had no idea it was illegal. So it's kind of hard to fight that in court. Now, I think if I would have taken it to court, I could have gotten a few things removed, like the littering charge maybe and some other stuff. But what they called littering and poisoning fish, because I saw those charges and I thought, oh, I didn't litter, I didn't poison any fish. My truck was banged up, but it wasn't leaking gas or coolant or oil. But what they call littering and poisoning fish was actually just driving through the creek and stirring up mud. They say that if you stir up the mud, that's actually poisoning the fish and littering in the creek. You know, it's silly, but that's the law. And again, I didn't know that was the law. I had no idea that I was not allowed to drive through a creek. My scenario was either pay the 50K, which sucks, or go to trial, not beat all the charges because I was on film, and then maybe beat some, but still get a criminal record, still get fined then. And then the other big thing was, you got to think, if I fight it and go to court, what's going to happen? A trial. And then I got to have everyone else that was there involved. So all my friends, all the people around, and there were a lot of people there, they got to come in, they got to testify either try to testify for me or against me, and I didn't want to put any of my friends in that position. I didn't think it would be fair to also drag everyone else in and down with me, so I took the deal, and again, it did work out in the long run for everyone. A lot of people were asking about this because it's a normal thing to ask. It was on private property that I had permission to be on, my buddy's farm. I have not been back here since, and it's a pretty wild memory. Like, not traumatic in the sense that like I have some trauma or PTSD, but it really does bring back the memories. It was horrible when I made that jump. It was horrible. I really didn't know what I was doing at the time, but there is the runway, sort of. And right here is something is still, like, there's animals all around me. Right here is where some dirt was dug out for the ramp, and that's the ramp now, all filled with plants. But this is literally it. You can still see like where this was fresh, and this was the big ramp. You can see how high the ramp is, and then we go all the way across here. Now this is what's very wild. I made it into that cornfield about 15-20 feet. So all the way from here across there, I mean, that is an insane, it might not look like it on camera, but that is an insane distance, at least, man, 60 feet, maybe more. It's wild to me that I don't know how I walked away. Like, that was a horrible, I must have lost 35, 40 miles per hour on impact. So I essentially hit like a wall at 40 miles per hour. I lost all that speed instantly. And I'm okay, you know, thank God I'm okay. Private property totally was on the up and up. I could be there, all okay. So I did see a lot of people saying, well, he did this on state game land or, you know, someone else's property and he wasn't allowed to be there. No, none of that is true. Not state land, not private property that I wasn't allowed to be on. It was private property that I was allowed to be on, all on the up and up. However, if you have a stream, now this is information that a lot of people might be surprised to know. If you have a stream running through your property that is state controlled then, and it's up to the jurisdiction of the state Fish and Boat Commission, if that is I believe the terminology is navigable waterway. And navigable waterway means if it's used for commerce. This is where it gets really tricky here and kind of crazy. Waterways must be regarded as navigable in law if they are navigable in fact, according to U.S. Supreme Court. 1870, waterways are navigable in fact when they are used or susceptible of being used in their ordinary condition as highways for commerce over which trade and travel are or may be conducted. So that's saying that it can only be a navigable waterway, and this is PA here, Pennsylvania. It can only be a navigable waterway if it could be used or is being used for commerce. Who knows? I mean, you can see the wording in there. It really depends on who you're asking. But again, I'm trying to fight the government, and that's not a good idea. I'm not going to get in there, but you can see there is the ramp. And this is what I mean when I say it's really a runoff creek, because it's bone dry. It's bone dry right there. So I'm not sure what type of animal can live in that water there, but I know it's not any type of real, maybe an insect, but you know, that's what I mean when I say even after a rain here, that is dry. This was here long before the property owner, me, any of us, and you can actually see where the tires are from the tractor that comes in and goes across, because you can't unless you go across there and then you have to drive through a big ditch. So this was a little pass through for the farmer. I didn't modify anything here. I didn't do anything to this. The property owner did not either. This was already here. I should point out, from my understanding, this would be legal. If you're a farmer or you own property, you have to get from one side to the other. You can drive across. You can go straight, like the most direct point across. You can do that. You can't go up and down. Oh my God. Oh my God. And he's off. Just into the sunset. This thing is absolutely unstoppable. You can drive across it or you can get a permit to like modify it, but you can't drive up and down. Across is okay, directly across. Up and down, not okay. The famous screenshot is from like right here. You can see that tree there, but this is it. One thing I do want to say, the ramp is still there. The passageway is still there. I'm guessing the other exit ramp is there, which I'll find out in a second. But you can see, so far anyway, no work has been done. So my 50K that went to repairing the stream has not been used yet. If I was a betting man, I'd say it's never going to get used. I would be prepared to bet a lot of money this will never be touched by the Fish and Boat Commission or a company to rebuild anything. I'm guessing it won't be. I don't know where my money went, but so far anyway, it didn't go here. I do wish I had the right to know where my money is going. You know, 50K is a ton of money, but even if it was 500 bucks, I feel like you should have the right to know where your money goes, but you pay taxes. So I'm guessing this is like, you know, when you pay the government, they do what they want and you have no right to ask anything. So I'm sure this is the same. This here, I will say, is much more of like an actual creek. It's pretty big, pretty wide, still hard bottom, but this is where I drove through. And this was, I feel like, probably where the main concern was. The odd thing is, oddly enough, like the jump itself wasn't illegal. I went from field to field, that's okay. But everything else I did in the video that was secondary to the actual point of the video, that's where I went wrong. Ramp there, I backed up all the way to pretty much the cornfield, started, got a big running start.
Round two. Here he comes. Oh! Here he comes. Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Woo! That thing went flying. Look where it landed! The Raptor, for comparison, folks, landed here. The Dodge landed out here. Holy cow!
Oh my God.
And then did my horrible jump, the horrible jump that changed my life forever. I just wanted to give you a little tour so you'd have a better understanding of what I'm talking about, and now we'll go back to the main video. I don't think your average guy doing this would have been, number one, caught, because how would they know? But number two, I don't think they would have been charged like I was. I think it's pretty clear they were trying to make an example. Credit to them, I'm sure it did, because there were a lot of people in the comments of all these articles who had no idea that this could be illegal. So, and I'm sure thousands of them were in this state. So if they wanted to make people not drive through a stream, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are going to think twice now. But I think it's pretty clear that, you know, being charged with 18 criminal counts, and they were real, you know, not felonies or anything, Class C misdemeanors, which in this state is the same level as a DUI. Not that this really matters, but I'm just trying to give you a comparison of like how severe the charges were. Pretty bad. PA is a state that doesn't treat DUIs as they should be treated. They're very lax. Like, we got a lot of drunk drivers, and the state encourages it because you can get your first one, really have nothing happen to you. You can get a second, third, fourth. I know people on like 4 or 5, and I don't understand how they don't have their license taken away, but they just keep getting slaps on the wrist. That's what I was facing. 18 criminal counts, 18 charges in total. We have 2 counts of disturbance of waterways and watersheds, 6 counts of pollution of waters, 6 counts of littering near waters, and 4 counts of misuse of property and waters. So those are the 18 charges. I don't think I was in any danger of ever going to jail. I have no record. I would have been a first-time offender. So I don't think that was ever a possibility, but it could have been. If I had had a prior, you know, it's possible I could have gone to jail for this. I'm sure we could have talked it out, but when they came here, to be fair to them, they showed up and I didn't know what they were talking about. I don't even fish, so I had no idea why they were here, but if you guys remember, about a year and a half ago, my dog was dying, my dog Savannah, who I had raised since she was a puppy. And she wasn't dying that day, but I was literally on my way to UPenn in Philadelphia to get her another surgery to try, I'm trying everything to save her life. She meant the world to me, still does. And they showed up as I was loading her into the truck. So you can imagine that I didn't want to talk to the police or anyone else at that time. So I told them, hey, I'm not talking to you. You can talk to my lawyer, get off my property. Maybe that day, had I been in a better mood and it wasn't that situation, I didn't know what they wanted, but they were talking about charges and something, so I didn't want to even hear it. Maybe I could have talked it out that day. That might be on me. But at the same time, I feel like, I did call afterwards, after that, and said, hey, I'm sorry, this is what was going on. I didn't mean any harm. I didn't even know what you're accusing me of was illegal. I'm not a spiteful guy. I get pulled over, I deal with it. I'm never saying like, hey, that's the cops' fault and they suck and to hell with them. I say, hey, they're doing their job and I take care of what I need to do and it's all over. This one, I will never be okay with it. I'm over it. All this crap that I went through for nothing, for absolutely nothing, when it could have been taken care of in a much easier way. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. Hope you learned something about the case, and it feels great to tell the story after all this time. But I got in trouble, not really for the jump. The jump actually was okay. I got maybe in trouble for building the ramp along the bed of the bank of the stream. Not sure on that. I think it was in there, but I'm not sure. But really, I got in trouble for driving up and down the stream. So this is a warning too. If you live in PA or maybe other states, if you just drive right across, if you have to, don't drive up and down. The littering and the poisoning to fish wasn't that I was actually dumping anything or putting anything in the stream, which I totally get, by the way. If you're dumping coolant into a stream, that's a problem. I wouldn't do that, which is what I thought when they were saying I was littering. I didn't put anything in there, but littering to them can be just driving through it and kicking up mud. Now, deer walk through it, and there's a horse farm 100 yards up the stream, and they walk through it. So that's also kicking up mud. Point being, don't do that either. So that's what I actually got in trouble for. I did pay 52 grand. All in all, I currently have no criminal charges, nothing on my record, nothing against me. That's all done with, and it was on private property that I had permission to be on. So that's all the info. People were asking about those things, and that's pretty much all I can say. On a brighter note, make sure you enter to win the ZR1, the best giveaway car ever by far, 5K miles. That thing is mint, and right now on the website, every $1 that you spend gets you 20 entries for that car and the C7 Carbon 65. 20 entries for both cars, 40 in total for $1. It's an epic deal, and you only have 5 days left. Might be 4 by the time you see this, until the end of the month. So get entered. One of you is going to win. 2 of you are going to win those cars, unless one person is really lucky. But make sure you enter. And also, if you don't follow my Instagram, I just posted this really cool video. It'll blow your freaking mind.
Way up here.
It'll blow your mind.
Way up here.
I'm sure you're wondering what I'm talking about there, and I won't ruin it, but check it out. It will actually blow your mind. It's very, very cool. Something unique we have here in PA. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Take care and have a great night.